All right, so this is uh, the last prequel movie that I'm going to review. A bad movie review of Star Wars Episode 3, The Revenge of the Sith. It came out in 2005, written and directed by George Lucas. This is definitely the best of the three, but I still have some issues, and it's still pretty much a bad movie. So in this one, the Clone Wars are still going on, but they're almost coming to a close. It's just, there's still some certain people that they still have to take out. So Palpatine, Chancellor Palpatine, played by Ian McDermott, he gets captured by the Separatists and brought on a Separatist ship, and he's being held there by Count Dooku and General Grievous, who's this new droid general that is just like popping up in this movie. And Anakin and Obi-Wan, played by Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor, they go over there to, they go to the ship to save him, to rescue him, and they end up fighting Count Dooku. Anakin ends up killing him, pretty much executing him at Palpatine's command, so obviously Palpatine is evil, whatever. They keep going, they get captured by General Grievous for a little bit, but they get loose, and he ends up escaping to Utapau. I think that's how you say that planet's name. So they get back. Anakin finds out Padme is pregnant, but he also has a dream that she's going to die, so now he's worried about that. There's this whole thing between the Jedi's and Palpatine because Palpatine's getting more and more power. They're finally suspecting him. They should have been suspecting him pretty much since the beginning, since the first movie probably, but regardless, I've already complained about that. I'm going to complain about that a little bit more later on. Palpatine uses his powers, I guess, to get Anakin on the Jedi Council, but they won't give him the rank of Master, which frustrates him. But he is on the Council because they need him to spy on on the Chancellor. So there's some tension there between Anakin and the Council. He feels like he's not trusted. All these other things. He's talking to Palpatine. He's spending some more time with him. Palpatine is clearly evil, and he's going into like dark side things, telling him about the dark side. Tells him about Darth Plagueis, who can use the dark side to keep people that he loves from dying. So obviously that's going to entice Anakin to turn to the dark side. Eventually, there's some clone fights and stuff like that still on Kashyyyk with the Wookiees, and you can see Chewbacca. I think that is only there so that you can see Chewbacca. Obi-Wan goes after Grievous on Utapau, and he defeats him. And Anakin finally finds out that Chancellor Palpatine is actually Lord Sidious, the Sith Lord that they've been looking for. So then he tells Mace Windu and them, they go to arrest him. But then Anakin rushes in because he doesn't want Mace Windu to kill the Chancellor Palpatine, because he wants to use his knowledge to maybe keep Padme alive. For whatever reason, he actually believes that the Jedi were trying to overthrow Palpatine because Palpatine was putting on this act, which is so obvious, and he gets his face all fucked up. The Senate even goes along with it when the Emperor decides to just be like, you know what, the Republic's done. We're just gonna be the Empire now. Obi-Wan survives when the clones try to kill him. The other Jedi's all get killed because of Order 66, which is the order to kill all the Jedi's. And somehow the Senate is just fine with that, including kids. Whatever, it's fine. And so Anakin goes to kill the Viceroy and the rest of the Separatists to fully, end the dispute that caused the Clone Wars. And Yoda goes to fight the Emperor. He loses because he has to lose, because there needs to be an explanation as to why Yoda isn't stepping in and why he gets exiled in the original trilogy to Dagobah. So Obi-Wan goes to fight Anakin. He defeats him. Anakin burns up and loses his limbs, but he survives somehow. Don't ask me how, because he should definitely be dead. And Padme dies from like a broken heart, pretty much. She lost the will to live or something like that. And then she gives birth to Luke and Leia. Luke and Leia go to their respective places, and that is it. And Anakin becomes Darth Vader, which is actually pretty cool until he screams out, "No!" And that's it. So, positives. I like seeing Anakin and Obi-Wan be friends in this one and not be like, father's son, like, bratty son, bratty child thing that they had going on in the second movie. Ben Kenobi said they were good friends, so it's nice to finally see them be that. All the lightsaber duels are pretty good. I have some problems with the lava one. We'll get back to that one. but they're well choreographed like they always are. The John Williams score is great, especially in certain scenes. Padme's funeral, um, I liked that scene a lot. It was very emotional. It actually got to me for a little bit, even though I don't really care for Anakin and Padme's relationship and all that. But that actually got to me. It had this whole thing where it was kind of showing Darth Vader at the same time. I think it had Luke and Leia's birth and Padme's death pretty much at the same time that Darth Vader was being created. Like Anakin was dying pretty much, and Darth Vader was born at the same time that Padme is dying. So I thought that was effective, and yeah, I like Order 66. I thought that was also a really nice dramatic scene with Yoda kind of feeling it while all the Jedi's are getting killed, even though they're all getting like bitched out by the clones. Man, it really shows how pathetic those droids were, because like the clones are able to just go to the Jedi Temple and just kill all the Jedi's pretty much like overnight. But whatever, I liked that scene too. Pretty much like the Darth Vader stuff I liked at the end. I would actually say, other than the no part, I think Anakin becoming Darth Vader is probably the best part of this. Let's get to the bad shit. The politics stuff still doesn't make much sense. Like I said, the Senate is just perfectly okay with them killing the Jedi, even though the Jedi have been fighting for the Republic for so long and have helped them, win the Clone Wars. I guess they're just gonna clap as he's destroying the Republic and pretty much like having like a fascist, bringing forth a fascist like dictatorship. But I guess they're just fine with that. The politics have never made sense. All they talk about is in the politics is, oh, they're always arguing instead of doing any action. I've never once seen them really debate in these movies. Like Jar Jar is like, give them executive powers, emergency powers, and they're like, yeah, cool, yeah, listen to the like dumbass like duck looking thing. They never really argued or anything like that. I might as well start with the thing that pissed me off the most in this. Right, Palpatine is so obviously evil. He's telling Anakin about the dark side and all this. I mean, it's so obvious, and then the Jedi are just now catching on to it, even though they should have been known. You can say the Force was clouded or something. I don't give a shit. They're stupid. You can use intuition to know that this guy's been evil from the start. Everybody should know, really. He's not really hiding it that well.
The Sith and the Jedi are similar in almost every way. The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
He's clearly trying to turn Anakin against the Jedi. It's so obvious. Why is Anakin so stupid in this fucking movie? Like it gets to the point where, after they, kill Mace Windu, and Anakin's on his side or whatever. He's like, they're gonna, if they find out what happened here, the Jedi will kill us and then kill all the senators. Why would you believe that? Where is that coming from? And then later on, Anakin is like, I should have known the Jedi were plotting to take over. Where the fuck is that coming from? I still don't know. Like, there's nothing to even, like, the Emperor Palpatine, he didn't even make that somewhat believable, but somehow he's just on board with it, like, automatically, which is ridiculous. Oh, man. He's willing to, because you have two things in this, where he doesn't trust the Jedi for whatever reason. They don't trust me or whatever, even though they're trying to get him to spy on someone else. It's the other person they don't trust, but whatever. You have that where he doesn't trust the Jedi, and he believes for some reason they're trying to overthrow the Republic with no evidence or anything to go along with that. But the Senate didn't need any evidence either, somehow. But he also has the storyline where he's trying to save Padme, right? Knowing good and well him turning to the dark side and killing kids, probably not going to sit right with Padme, so she's probably not going to stay with you anyway. It gets to the point where he's choking the very person that he does all this to keep. I mean, it's dumb.
You're so beautiful.
It's only because I'm so in love.
No. No, it's because I'm so in love with you.
Padme and Anakin still have pretty bad dialogue. Mostly Padme. Her dialogue is very, very poorly written. Anakin and Padme's secret love makes no sense. Like, Obi-Wan goes to see her to tell her about everything that's going on, and he he visited her before that too to tell her about Anakin. It's just weird because they even embrace each other right there when he gets back from the whole thing with the saving Palpatine, and they're not trying to hide it at all. Like, don't the Jedi live in the Jedi Temple? They don't notice that he's going away to stay with Padme all the time? Like, is he always living in there with her? And I don't know. It's pretty obvious that they're together, right? If there was they know she's pregnant, who would you think would be the father? He would be like the number one person you would suspect. The movie's still pretty slow paced. You know, you still got like some boring council stuff because nobody's allowed to have a personality other than like a select few. The Jedi straight up aren't supposed to have emotions. You know, Yoda straight up tells Anakin not to, what do you say? Mourn them, do not miss them, do not. It's like, wow, they're not even allowed to mourn the dead? Like, Jesus. And they're indoctrinating kids with this nonsense? Man, the Jedi really have, like, it's character assassination for the entire Jedi. You would never expect that the Jedi would be like they are. Just completely, complete idiots when it comes to Palpatine and, you know, all the different things they believe, and you have to be like a toddler to train. And, you know, the Jedi are kind of like really kind of trash in the prequels just as a whole. The clones, there's still an over-reliance on CG, but especially with the clones. I don't know whose idea it was for them to take their helmets off, but it looks so fucking fake. It looks like shit. Wow. I mean, there is a lot of fake shit and a lot of it looks bad, but especially the clones, and especially when they don't have their helmets on.
The Force is strong with you.
Anakin's turn to the dark side is kind of ridiculous because, you know, he starts off pretty normal. Like, he's kind of like a hero, stuff, he cares about people. He goes out of his way to save Obi-Wan, you know, but then it just feels so flimsy that, like, all of a sudden he believes the Jedi are trying to take over. Like I said, it's so stupid, and how he doesn't realize. I mean, he's actively helping the Sith Lord that's been behind all this, the Clone Wars, the Separatists, all that, and to overthrow the Republic. He's literally changed the name of it. It's the Empire now. Like, he's taken over. He won't relinquish his power at all, and Anakin's just going along with it. But he's like, I should have known the Jedi were evil. The Jedi are evil. It's just so. It feels like such a flip, you know. For him to turn to the dark side, fine. We saw him kill Tusken Raiders, but for the flimsy, ridiculous reasons why he does it, with Palpatine's manipulation, and for him to go as far as to kill kids, it's too much. It's too far. It's a stretch. So the ending with the lava fight, the fight over the lava, because there's no subtlety at all. They need to fight over a giant thing of lava, and they need to fight in pretty much every room because this is the longest fight of all time. And they have to, like, swing over things. Like, they have to ruin the facility so then it's falling into the lava, and somehow they're still fighting each other. Like, at some point, like, even at least Obi-Wan should be like, whoa, I probably need to get out of here, you know. Like the whole platform is falling into lava, and for some reason they're completely unaffected by being right above the lava. But they're in this room, this room, this room. They're you know, swinging over the lava. You know, they really, like, stop to hide away from the lava, and then they hit each other again to run away and then hit each other. It's like, it's so ridiculous and over the top, and it gets to the point where even though the choreography is well done, it's overly choreographed, like most of these lightsaber fights are, so it never really feels all that real. It feels like they're dancing with swords. But, you know, the editing in some of it is pretty bad. There's a moment that's always got on my nerves, even when I was a kid. There's a moment where they're fighting on a table, and Obi-Wan has his lightsaber in his hand, and then he goes down, and there's a cut, and then all of a sudden he has Anakin's lightsaber in his hand, and that's always bothered me. I tried to explain that to some people, and for some reason they just couldn't get it. It's always been kind of jarring for me, but either way, that fight, what should be a pretty awesome fight, and it's still a pretty good one, it just goes on for too long, and it's ridiculous. The dialogue before it is terrible.
Anakin, you're breaking my heart. You're going down a path I can't follow. Stop. Stop now. Come back. I love you.
Liar!
Not just from like Padme, but also from Anakin and Obi-Wan. It's like writing like of a child, where he's like, you know, if you're not with me, then you're my enemy. It's like, okay, yeah, you could write some more clever dialogue, some better written dialogue than this. It's really bad throughout that whole segment. Jar Jar Binks, you know, we get to see little glimpses of him, and it's like earlier on, I'm like, I don't know why he's even in this, but let's keep moving. But then you get to see him in the funeral, and it's like you couldn't help yourself. Every time I see him since the first movie, feels like a middle finger, right? The character didn't even say anything, which is a good thing, but you could have kept him out completely because I hate that fucking character, whether he's talking or not. So, regardless, I don't know why he's even in this, but fuck him. It's mostly the Palpatine stuff with Anakin. I mean, it is so ridiculous to the point where, you know, when Anakin finally calls him out, it's like, you're the Sith we've been looking for. You almost expect Palpatine to be like, oh, finally, you're kind of slow on the uptake, aren't you? You know, it's bad. But think about the conceit of this, where it's like, he's not doing all this, like betraying everything he knows and loves to do all this, kill kids and all this. He's not doing this so that the Emperor can use his powers to save Padme. He's not doing this so that the Emperor can teach him to save Padme. He's doing it on the off chance that they too can, using the dark side, find a way to keep her alive.
To cheat death is a power only one has achieved. But if we work together, I know we can discover the secret.
You can't, like, it's not even guaranteed at all. And you know good and well that you turn to the dark side and all this, she's not going to want to be with you as a result of that. Like, you know, this isn't about Palpatine being smart and like outsmarting people and that's how he gets this dictatorship going. It's really just about how fucking dumb everybody around him is, that he's able to just get powers because the Senate is like, well, it's a democratic society, but keep giving him powers. Keep having him go, you know, past his term. Yeah, that's fine. It's okay. Everything will be all right. You know, we like him even though he's obviously evil and pulling puppet strings on pretty much everything going on in the entire series and in the entire trilogy. Yeah, this is better than the other ones. It's more entertaining. It's got more like action scenes and things like that. Anakin's a lot less annoying. He's not like a, you know, bratty kid, or at least he's not acting like one. And Hayden Christensen is serviceable for what he's supposed to do. He's still not very good, but he's serviceable. So, you know, I'm actually going to give this a rental instead of trash. Those other two are trash. I'm madder at this one because this one actually has potential because it has actually well done things in it. But this is without a doubt better than those other two. I mean, I don't even think it's a contest. But these are all bad movies, and they're not even really that necessary. I was thinking about this. I think this one's the best one because George wanted to make this one from the beginning, right? Like, this is the one where everything really happens. All those other two movies are really only just setup, right? Anakin goes from being a hero of the Clone Wars to being Darth Vader in this. Like, you know, Padme dies, Luke and Leia are born, you know, the Jedi are killed off in Order 66. Everything that you really needed for a prequel to the original trilogy is right here. Everything happening in the other two, you could have summed up in some flashbacks, some lines of dialogue, you know, but this whole trilogy really wasn't needed anyway. Really, a lot of this is just lines of dialogue from A New Hope, you know? So, whatever. At the end of the day, it's still better than the other two, so. Rental, like I said. And that's it. That's all the prequels. We're finally done. I did all these one day after the other over 3 days, editing and, you know, watching and editing. So it was exhausting, but that's it. That's the prequels. Subscribe to the channel and all that, and we're finally done. Goodbye.